Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 56 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
And I hope you all had a great weekend.
I know we did.
We did. We had a really fun time this weekend, and we'll get into all that in a bit. But before we jump into what we did this weekend, we wanted to talk about something that was in the news, some kind of precedence-setting information in vegan news.
Yeah, this was really exciting news coming out of theintercept.com. And the title of the article that we're looking at here is Activists Acquitted in Trial for Taking Piglets from Smithfield Foods. So what this is really dealing with, back in 2017, two activists removed two sick and dying piglets from Utah's Smithfield Foods factory farm. Mm-hmm. And after this incident, they were charged with burglary and theft, which could have sent them to prison for 5.5 years each. The combined sentence of those two charges, burglary and theft.
Right.
And so after quite some time and much deliberation, it was determined that the act of removing the piglets who were in a gestation crate, mm-hmm. And were very sick and unlikely to live if they were not rescued, the court determined that that act was not theft, largely because Smithfield Foods admitted necessarily that mortality rate among piglets is reasonably high and factored into the cost of doing business.
Right.
Essentially. And also, what was amazing to me is that in terms of the theft, a monetary value being placed on the theft, they said that the piglets in full health would be worth $42.20 each mm-hmm. to the company.
Right. What I found really interesting about this was the fact that several FBI agents were on this case, a case where the theft was valued at a total of $80-some.
$84.40. Yes.
Yeah. The fact that they had so many FBI agents investigating this case, I found was very telling as to how much importance the animal agriculture industry puts on keeping the doors closed on information coming out about the conditions in these factory farms.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the FBI agents who was on the case, Chris Anderson, testified that approximately 8 FBI agents were assigned to the case. Mm-hmm. One of the attorneys, of course, then pressed him on whether any other theft cases involving less than $100 worth of property had multiple FBI agents assigned to them. Uh-huh. And, Mr. Anderson, of course, acknowledged that he couldn't think of anyone.
Right.
From personal experience.
Yeah.
So...
And early on in this case, I read an article early on in the proceedings where the judge was not allowing any of the video footage that the two animal rescuers had taken during them taking these pigs. They took a lot of film and video footage, and none of that was allowed to be presented in court as evidence.
Right, because it was considered to be immaterial to the case, because the condition in which Smithfield was keeping their animals was not the issue at hand.
Right.
It was the issue of burglary and theft. So the video evidence that they brought to court was deemed inadmissible.
So, I mean, this is the best outcome we could have hoped for in a case like this. And
it really is.
It definitely will set a precedence for future rescues from facilities like this. So,
yes.
It is a good thing.
It really is.
The names of the activists. Can we give the names of the activists?
So the activists in question are Wayne Sung and Paul Picklesheimer.
Yeah, and Wayne represented himself.
Yes, he did.
I believe he is a lawyer.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
And so I did see a little bit of footage of some of his testimony and some of his self-representation. And I can see why he represented himself.
Yeah.
He did a really good job.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Obviously convinced this jury that what they were doing was a rescue
Yes.
and not theft in any way.
That's right. And was able to show, obviously, that, the company had essentially given these piglets up as lost.
Right. So they were worth nothing
They were worth nothing.
to Smithfield.
Exactly.
And that was proven. So how can you call something theft when something has absolutely no monetary value?
That's right.
Yeah. The disturbing part of this case is the way that the little piglets are over and over are referred to as like a possession,
Yes.
an object.
Yes.
Not by the two rescuers, of course, but
course.
but by the prosecution.
Yes. But what is wonderful, of course, is that the two piglets named Lily and Lizzie were taken to a sanctuary for rescued farm animals in Colorado. And at no point during the investigation were the animals removed from the sanctuary, and they still live there to this day and are likely to do so for the remainder of their lives.
Yay.
Yay!
So the best outcome we could have hoped for.
Absolutely.
For sure. So we just wanted to talk a little bit about that because I think it's really good news and like I said before, a precedence.
Definitely some excellent groundwork for future cases.
Yeah.
We can hope.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
All right.
We did do a recipe. I have a recipe for this week, and this week our recipe is a dessert item.
Woohoo!
And I think it's the first dessert item that we've done.
I think you might be right.
In our Vegan Cookbook Challenge.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. Here is this week's recipe of the week. So this week we did a recipe out of the book Modern Vegan Baking by Gretchen Price. And the recipe that I chose to make was the winter fruit crisp.
Now, we know it's not quite winter yet.
Yes.
But this was fabulous.
Yeah, it's an apple crisp recipe.
Essentially.
And
But it's so much more
it
than
is
an
so
apple
much more.
crisp, really.
In the recipe, Gretchen says that you can use apples, which is what we use because we had apples from our farm share. She adds pear, but I didn't have pear.
Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah. And then you add in dried fruits.
Which I loved. We've never added dried berries to an apple crisp before. And wow, does it work.
Yeah, you reconstitute the dried fruits in some apple juice, which worked out really great. And I used dried cherries, dried cranberry, and
blueberries.
Yeah, blueberries. It was like I had a bag of like a dried berry medley kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a good addition to an apple crisp.
It was delightful.
Yeah.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So you had your general, wonderful soft apples going on and just this extra tart bite with the berries and a little bit of crunch from some walnuts. And the topping was beautiful. Christine added some oats to it, I believe.
I did not add the oats because I wanted to
didn't.
I didn't, and I should have. The only thing I did not like about this recipe was her topping part of the recipe contained flour, which I thought was odd. I've made tons of apple crisp and never have I included flour into the crisp part of the apple crisp. I wouldn't do that again. That's for sure.
Okay.
I would omit that. In the recipe, it's flour and brown sugar. There's always brown sugar in a crisp and butter, but the amount of flour in the crisp portion of this recipe made what was supposed to be crisp kind of sandy.
Okay.
And I didn't appreciate the texture at all.
Gotcha.
I was going to put oats because I always put oats in my apple crisp, but
Right.
I wanted to stay true to the recipe.
Okay.
I decided to stay true to the recipe.
There you go.
That was the only thing I didn't really like about this recipe.
Well, I will say slightly sandy topping or not.
Yeah.
This was absolutely beautiful. We had it for dessert 3 nights in a row.
I think so.
3 or 4 nights in a row.
With some vegan ice cream.
With a little bit of vegan ice cream. We served it with some salted caramel cashew milk ice cream, which was really fabulous.
Yeah, it was
and
a good addition.
Really awesome combination. Just that caramel with the apples and the brown sugar was fabulous.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I would just, like I said, I would change the crisp part of this recipe.
Yeah.
If I made it again, I would change that up a little bit.
Unfortunately, we do still have apples, so I see another apple crisp in our future.
I love apple crisp.
It's what's not to love.
Yeah, or apple pan dowdy or any kind of apple-y.
It's so good.
It's so fall. The house smells all fall-like
I love the
when you
smell.
make anything like with baked apples.
It's incredible.
So.
Yeah, the only thing I don't love with apples is kind of the traditional apple pie.
Like apple pie?
Not my thing.
Really? Apple pie with little ice cream?
Yeah, no, I don't like the crust.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's not the apples I have an objection to. It's the crust.
Pie crust?
Pie crust is not a thing for me. I don't enjoy it.
Some people have cheese with their apple pie, which I never could understand.
No, nah.
Cheddar.
No.
I think it's cheddar.
It is cheddar
serve.
cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I've never tried that, so I can't
haven't
speak
either.
to it one way or another.
Yeah. And of course, we would have to use a vegan cheddar. I think it would just be odd.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was this week's recipe. We will link to this cookbook in the show notes. And the cookbook, again, is Modern Vegan Baking. It's the ultimate resource for sweet and savory baked goods. And it's by Gretchen Price. So check out the show notes if you want to grab yourself a copy of it. It's a good book.
It is. It's a great book. Yep. Loads of awesome recipes in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to try and do a few more dessert recipes.
You won't hear me arguing.
That's good. I don't want to hear you arguing.
I'm aware of this.
All right, let's move on to what we did this weekend.
All right, let's do it.
So what did we do this weekend?
We headed out of town late Friday morning and on our way to Syracuse for the Central New York / Syracuse Vegfest, which we have been waiting for quite some time.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, we were. We've been looking forward to this for a long time. And on our way, of course, we had to do a little bit of recon in other places. So on our way out to Syracuse, we stopped in Rochester. And we stopped at, finally, Grass-Fed Vegan Butcher Shop. We've been meaning to do this for ages.
Yeah, and it just never worked. They're not open on Saturday, so we just couldn't get our timing right to get there on a day when they were open. And finally, we got there on a Friday when they were open, and we got a couple of sandwiches.
Yeah, we did.
And a couple of things out of their butcher case, which we'll talk about in a little while.
Yes.
But I got the vegan Monte Cristo. Mm-hmm. And what did you get?
I got the vegan Reuben.
That's right. And then we just gave each other one half of our sandwich so we could both taste.
Yes. So we could both taste each of them. Yes.
The vegan Monte Cristo it was fantastic. I haven't had a Monte Cristo in literally decades.
Yeah.
And their vegan ham, it's just amazing. It is so flavored so perfectly. And they packed it in there. There was 30 slices of the ham.
Oh my gosh, there was so much.
And some melty cheese.
Seitan on that sandwich.
Yeah. And then, with the Monte Cristo, if you don't know, they do the bread almost like a French toast. Mm-hmm. It's so good.
Yeah. The bread was wonderful.
It definitely hit the spot. And I got mine with a side of potato chips and one of their homemade pickles.
Yes. Oh, and the homemade pickles were fantastic.
They were good.
I love a good pickle. This is not a surprise, I know, for any of you, given my love of cucumbers. But yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. The Reuben as well, perfectly seasoned corned beef. Absolutely perfect. The sauerkraut was wonderful. And as we know, I'm not in general a big fan of fermented foods, but for me, this sauerkraut tasted more pickled than it did fermented.
Yeah. And it was, it was different than most sauerkrauts that you find in a Reuben. It was really, really flavorful. But there were a couple of things in there, and I can't even tell you what they were, that kind of elevated it and made it like, ooh, well, that's different.
Yeah.
It was definitely a different twist.
Yeah.
and really good.
It was really, really wonderful. And so, of course, he had some melty cheese on there and some Thousand Island dressing and on grilled rye bread. And it was fabulous.
Yeah, we will definitely be back.
Oh, no question.
So thank
Absolutely
you so much,
amazing.
Rob and Nora, for what you do there in Rochester. The place is cute, first of all.
Oh, it's adorable.
Yeah, really cute. And for what you do, I mean, having a vegan butcher shop within driving distance, even though it is 2 hours away, is we just feel just really lucky.
Yeah.
Really lucky to have you guys.
So cool.
Yeah.
So super cool.
And we purchased to take with us 2 little tubs of their pepperoni. And Rob threw in some, was it pastrami?
Prosciutto.
Prosciutto. I'm sorry. And we have a little sad story about all this stuff, which we'll get to.
Yes, we'll get to later, but there's a
little
sad
bit.
story.
Yeah, so we made our way from Rochester after that fantastic lunch,
Amazing lunch.
which we just kind of oohed and awed the whole way between Rochester and Syracuse. We were just like, that was so good. That was so good. And then we got to Syracuse, and on our way to Syracuse, we got a text from our friend Andy from Compassion Co. asking, because we had offered for him to stay because we had an Airbnb and it had an extra bedroom. And Andy travels by van and usually ends up sleeping in his van.
Yeah.
And I thought, hey, we got the space if you want to come and stay or shower or whatever.
Absolutely.
So he texted me and said, what do you guys think about doing something spooky tonight? And I'm like, what sort of spooky thing are you thinking of doing tonight? Well, apparently in Syracuse, there is a large haunted house kind of thing in this warehouse space.
Yeah.
That they call Fright Night. Is that
Fright
what it was
Fest.
called? Fright Fest. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I said, well, I'm easily frightened, but let's do it. So we got to our Airbnb, and then Andy showed up, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes later or so. We went online, bought tickets to the Fright Fest, and oh my gosh, we had so much fun at this Fright Fest.
So much fun. I mean, I honestly cannot remember when or if I've ever been to a haunted house quite like this.
Yeah.
I remember my dad being part of one when I was really young, like a community organization that he belonged to put on a haunted house one Halloween, but I don't remember it particularly vividly, so I must have been pretty little.
Yeah.
And I really don't think I've done anything like it since.
Yeah.
And it was just really entertaining from start to finish.
It really was. Well, I looked online and I'm like, well, it says kid friendly. I'm like, how scary can this thing be, right? Mm-hmm. Because I remember as a teenager, my friends would all want to go to these haunted houses, and I really was never a fan of being super scared. And the one time we went, there was someone chasing you around with a running chainsaw, and they're like,
that's scary,
covered in blood. Now, yeah, granted, there's no blade or anything on the chainsaw.
Sure, but still.
But it was frightening. And people are grabbing you and jumping out at you. Well, this one, the people weren't allowed to touch you, which kind of helped.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. And they very clearly told us at the start of each section of the haunted house, that the actors could not touch us and we were not to touch them.
Yeah.
So they would interact with us. They would talk to us. They would get close to us.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to touch us and that we should not touch them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let me say, for something that said it was kid friendly, parts of it were really creepy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, the people who had some younger ones, I think they probably had to deal with some nightmares.
It's possible.
So there was like all these different sections,
Yes.
right? And the first section was like a haunted pirate ship.
Like a haunted pirate ship.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that was fun. And then, you're just kind of creeping around. I'm all tensed up and I'm creeping around waiting because I know people are going to start jumping out at us and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really well put together. The production value of it, I thought, was really well done.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't fault the actors for commitment at all.
No.
They were really great.
They were really great. And what I found creepiest were the ones that really didn't do anything. They just kind of stood there.
Yeah.
And because they also had like mannequins. So a lot of times you couldn't really tell if it was a real person or...
Oh, there were times where it was definitely hard to distinguish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like they wouldn't move at all until like you got just past them.
And then you see their head turn and start to follow you, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's a little creepy.
Yeah, I screamed a couple of times.
You
for
did.
sure.
You did. And Andy screamed a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to get out of the whole thing without screaming at all. But there was one actor in the last house who got me, like within 2 minutes of the end.
Yeah.
Like, and so, yeah, I didn't make it out without a scream.
So there was the haunted pirate ship. Then what was the next?
The haunted
Area.
circus tent.
Oh, haunted circus tent. Okay,
Yes.
great. So when you first walk in, the entrance into this warehouse space where they had everything set up was this giant, frightening clown head that you walked through.
Yes.
You know, scary clowns, you know, like the It clown.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the circus one was pretty creepy.
It was.
Yeah.
It was totally creepy. And isn't that where I ran into the two different young women who asked me if I wanted to be friends?
Yeah. Yeah, and you said yes, and then they were like,
And I said yes, and they went, and they just looked at me really weird.
Yeah.
'Cause, like it was kind of great.
it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
then the
enjoyed that.
haunted circus. So we have the haunted pirate ship, the haunted circus. Then what was after
The
that?
haunted mansion.
Oh, the haunted mansion.
Yeah.
That one was really creepy.
It was.
Yeah.
The haunted mansion. Then Jurassic Dark.
Yeah, Jurassic Dark, where we, the three of us had pretty much decided that someone got their hands on a lot of animatronic dinosaurs.
Yeah. They got a really good deal.
For a good price. And they're like, how can we use these? So they had this kind of, the theme was Jurassic times, but there were also zombies.
Yes. Dinosaurs
and
zombies.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one was kind of funny. The dinosaurs were cool.
The
I mean,
dinosaurs were cool.
there were all these animatronic dinosaurs.
And they
which
also
were-
had all of these like really awesome, like brightly colored, lit up flowers that I just loved. I thought they were great.
You don't go to a haunted house usually and hear somebody say, well, that's really pretty.
But I did. I certainly
Sam's
did say
thinking,
that.
oh, we could use those on the patio. You know? Anyway, that one was a little ridiculous.
Yes.
So after the Jurassic Dark,
Was the like it was supposedly kind of like a descent into hell kind of thing.
oh, is that what it was? Where was the slide? Was that after
That was in
Jurassic?
the last one. That was
Oh,
in the
okay.
last one. Yeah. Kind of like the devil's workshop, or I can't remember
Yeah,
exactly what it was called.
It was kind of an Evil Dead kind of thing going on
Yeah, a
there.
little bit.
Yeah, and then so we're moving along, and I see people going up this very steep looking flight of narrow metal stairs.
Yeah.
You know, like a fire escape type situation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's happening here? Because I do not like heights. And then I realize it's one of those giant slides.
So great.
So we're going up these steps, and my knees are getting a little weak as we're going up and up. I'm like, how high is this thing? Then we get to the top, and they give you like a
burlap
sack to sit on, and I couldn't quite get my sack right, and I was getting all nervous. And the girl giving us the sack, she's like, "You'll slide anyway. Don't worry, just go."
Yes. So Christine chose to be between me and Andy
Yeah.
because she wanted the safety of the center.
Yes.
And down we went, Christine screaming all the way.
Yeah, I screamed the whole way down.
And yeah, it was awesome.
That was really fun.
It really was.
And it's something. Thank you so much, Andy, because it is definitely something we would not have thought to do on our own.
Oh, not in a million years would we have gone looking for a fright night.
Nope.
So yeah, thank you for introducing us to something just really kind of goofy and awesome.
Yeah, and it was fun. I mean, I haven't done something spooky like that around Halloween since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
You know, so it was fun.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
Super cool.
It was fun interacting with some of the actors and stuff. Some of them were really great.
They really were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, speaking of the actors, one thing I find particularly spooky is a pig mask, where it's just a pig head. So there was this one guy, and I don't even remember which section he was in.
It was the Jurassic Dark section, actually.
Okay. I don't know what happened there. If he was like a dinosaur pig or what. But I see this man standing there with his pig mask, and I'm like, hello, Mr. Pig. And he starts chasing me. I'm like, no, Mr. Pig, no.
No, Pigman.
No, yeah.
No, Pigman. Stop. Stop, Pigman.
No, Pigman, no. It was ridiculous.
It was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
But she should have known.
That because I interacted with them.
Yes.
I know.
That's the cue to engage.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you speak to someone directly.
But really all I said was, hi, Pigman.
Right.
It wasn't like I was like, don't come near me or anything, Pigman.
Right.
I just said, hi, Pigman. Next thing I know, he's chasing me. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, and some of the actors were really committed, and some of them just kind of stood there. So,
Well, which is also a means of being very committed.
yes,
Because just standing still is not easy.
and it's creepy
Yes, it is.
because a lot of their costumes were very creepy. Yeah,
Yep. It's good stuff.
yeah. Oh, and at one point, not to keep going on about the Fright Night, or what was it called again?
Fright Fest.
Fright Fest. There was an older woman we were heading into one of the other sections. She was so cute.
The
remember?
circus tent?
Yeah.
Yeah, she had the clown nose.
Yeah, she was like, she wanted us to
Honk her clown nose.
honk her clown.
So we did.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cute.
Yep. Gotta love it.
So we had a really good time.
We did. Had an awesome time.
Yeah, so that was our Friday night.
Well, and after Fright Night, we went for dinner.
That's right. We went to Strong Hearts in Syracuse,
We
which
sure
we
did.
had never been.
No, we hadn't.
We've been to the Buffalo location, but we had never been to their original Syracuse location.
Which
so.
I love.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, just so bright and airy and
Yeah.
like, oh, I loved it.
And I wanted breakfast for supper.
You did.
Yeah. So I got their breakfast sandwich. What do they call the breakfast sandwich?
The egg trick muffin?
That's it. They call it the egg trick muffin.
Yes.
Thank you for remembering that.
No problem.
And then what did you get?
I got the Texas barbecue tofu sandwich.
Oh, and I think Andy got the sweet
and sassy molassy.
The sweet and sassy molassy, but he got it with
He got it with chicken tenders.
right because
they were out of the marinated
they were
tofu.
out of the sweet and sassy molassy tofu.
Right.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed my breakfast sandwich. It had a seitan-based bacon that they make was like perfectly crisp and bacony.
Yeah.
I would definitely have that again. And it was just served like on an English muffin, just like a standard fast food
Breakfast
sandwich.
Sure.
It totally hit the spot.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Texas barbecue tofu sandwich was awesome.
Yeah.
Just awesome.
It was messy.
Oh, it was so messy, but I love messy food.
Yeah.
I've always had this philosophy that the messier a sandwich is, the better it's likely to taste.
Yeah.
Because it just means there's a lot going on,
That's true.
you know? And so the barbecue sauce and the onions and the avocado and just the veg and the tofu was perfectly cooked and the bread was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. And I got my sandwich with a side of greens, so a little green salad, which was delightful. And I think, let's see, Andy got his sweet and sassy molassy, which is his kind of go-to when it comes to Strong Hearts, or at least that is what I believe he said.
That's what he told us.
Yeah. And then he got that with a side of,
Did he get the potato salad? I think he got the potato salad.
Yes, I think so.
Correct us if we're wrong, Andy.
Right.
But I think he got the potato salad.
Yeah.
I got a side of fries, which is kind of strange to have a side of fries with a breakfast sandwich.
I don't think that's that strange. I would have no problem getting fries with a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah.
They make good fries.
Yeah, their fries are good.
Yeah.
Agreed. And then to drink, I made the mistake of getting this bottled green tea drink. And it didn't even strike me that this was a highly caffeinated green tea drink.
Yeah.
And on the back, it even said, 40 milligrams of caffeine. I'm like, ooh, that's like 2 cups of coffee.
It wasn't quite to the level of the Sheryl Crow maple cold brew incident, but
No, I didn't have a panic attack or anything, but I was up until 3:30 or 4 in the morning.
You did not sleep. You did not sleep. She was just wired.
I was totally wired from that. Caffeine. I can't do it anymore. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah. So it was delicious. I mean, the drink was good, but I didn't realize until I had almost finished it that there was caffeine in it. Mm-hmm. It
Yeah.
never,
Yeah. Well, I, for the first time, had a Zevia soda.
Yeah.
And it was a ginger root beer.
Yeah.
Which was really, really great. I do love ginger ale and I do love root beer from time to time. It's one of those things that we have almost never.
No, we'll have it like if we're having a party or
And then
something.
if we have a picnic and we buy some root beer and I have some, I'm like, oh, right. I forgot.
Yeah.
Root beer is good.
We'll have root beer in the house like maybe once a year.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that was wonderful. And so it was a delightful dinner.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
So go Strong Hearts.
Yeah. So then we went to sleep, but I did not sleep.
Well, I slept. You didn't sleep.
Andy had to get up early to go set up for Vegfest.
Yeah. But it was really cool once we got back to our Airbnb. It was really cool just to kind of get to sit and chat and, you know, get to know Andy a little better.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
It was. And
he's super cool.
I should have just gotten up and went and helped him set up because I was so wired. I should have just gotten up and gone with him.
Wow, that's a really good point.
Yeah. So Andy, next time, just tell me to come with you.
Yeah. We totally could have helped.
Yeah, we totally could have. So then the next day was Vegfest.
It certainly was. And we had kind of a slow morning because Christine was pretty sleepy.
Yeah, I was.
To say the least. She was pretty sleepy. And the Vegfest didn't start until 11.
Right.
So and we're early risers. So, we weren't in any kind of rush.
No, we weren't in a hurry.
Yeah, so we had kind of a slow morning. And then we headed out to the Vegfest itself and had an absolutely lovely time. It took us a bit to find parking.
Yeah.
We drove around in circles for a little while looking for parking. But we eventually got that squared away.
We found a lot. There was a lot of on-street metered parking, but we didn't want to have to worry about feeding a meter.
Right.
So.
Right. So we found a lot that was...
And I don't even know. Maybe they don't meter on Saturdays.
I don't know. It varies from place to place, and not knowing the rules in Syracuse, I didn't want to risk it. And so we did find a lot. It was a paid lot, and that worked just fine.
Yep.
And so off we went to Fest and Veg.
The Syracuse Vegfest was held right in town in Syracuse in a little park called Clinton Square Park, which was really cool. It has like a fountain, which I think they drained just that morning. Andy had shared a picture of them draining the fountain.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
I missed that.
They must do it, probably for winter or whatever, to winterize it.
Makes sense.
But it was a really cool venue, I thought.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, I love an outdoor Veg Fest.
Yeah.
I have to say, I really do like the opportunity to just kind of, be outside and in the fresh air. And,
yeah, with the buildings of the city surrounding you.
Yeah,
and,
it was really great. And I think the location was really advantageous for the fest itself, because even folks who weren't necessarily aware that it was going on, but were just walking by, for other purposes, were likely to stop in and take a look around and get some food. And
Sure.
So I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a great
I love the location.
Yeah, great place for them to do it.
Yeah.
It was cold, a lot colder than we expected it to be.
It was brisk.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it thoroughly because the last couple of Veg Fests we've been to, it's been so hot.
I know, it's true.
So I really enjoyed the cooler weather, and I fortunately had my Animal Save Movement hoodie with me, the one that I won from the Burlington Veg Fest.
Yep.
And is now my go-to hoodie. I had that with
kind
me.
of a heavier...
It's a heavier hoodie, and so I was nice and toasty. I had no trouble at all.
Yeah, I mean, I had a jacket, but it was a fairly thin jacket.
It was. You were not quite prepared.
No, I wasn't prepared for it to be
cold.
as cold as it was. And I think part of the issue was it got cloudy and a little rainy in the morning. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like damp, and it was windy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I went seeking out a hat.
Yes. And you found one, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit.
Yes, I did find one.
You did.
And I can tell all the vendors there, if you vend at a Veg Fest that is held in the fall, you should make sure that you have hats or
that you're selling beanies.
Beanies with like vegan sayings on them or whatever.
Absolutely.
Gloves. People were wearing gloves.
Yes. Some people were.
I probably would have taken gloves, except when you're eating food, the gloves can get in the way.
Yeah, I can't get down with gloves for eating food.
Can't get down with gloves.
Yeah, I have a hard time with gloves. I very rarely wear gloves in the winter because I feel like they restrict what I can do with my hands.
Right.
And I don't like that feeling.
I know you do hardly ever wear them.
It's true.
Well, let's talk about some of the things we ate.
Yeah.
The very first place we went to get some food.
Well, the first thing we did was scope everything out because
Oh, yeah.
Christine was really, really looking forward to a breakfast sandwich.
I was hoping, even though I just had one the night before, I was hoping to find some sort of breakfast
true.
sandwich. I love a good breakfast sandwich. And I was hoping that Nice Biscuit from Syracuse, I was hoping that they were going to do a breakfast sandwich.
Because if you look at their website and you take a look at their menu, they make some decadent looking breakfast sandwiches. They look absolutely phenomenal. But the sandwich that they were serving at Vegfest was their Chicky Baby, which is a house-made vegan chicken, sweet and spicy pickles, and a vegan honey mustard on a fluffy vegan buttermilk biscuit.
Their biscuits, they're like, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches high.
They're huge
Yeah.
and they're perfect.
Oh, and when they say fluffy,
They're not kidding.
they're not lying. So that's what we got, one of those to split.
And we did, and it was a perfect start to the day. It was just fabulous.
Yeah, it was good. And the honey mustard, their house-made honey mustard with the vegan chicken kind of made it breakfasty,
It did a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had that
didn't-
little bit of kick of sweet.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was out of the realm of a breakfast sandwich
No.
completely. I mean, it wasn't just egg and bacon, which I
Right.
think is what you were looking for.
That's kind of what I was looking for, either tofu or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was an incredibly satisfying sandwich. Those biscuits are just unreal.
Yeah.
I wish we had bought a dozen of them,
Yeah.
just the biscuits.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Would have been good. Although also not good.
Why?
You know how we are when we get bread products in the house.
We just eat them till they're gone.
That's right. Which is problematic.
It's problematic.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, we become carb fiends.
We do.
For a little bit.
Especially in the fall and winter.
Yeah. So that was a nice, it wasn't too heavy, and because we split it, it was a good light bite to get us, kind of
Yeah.
primed.
To kind of get us primed. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. To take the edge off of the hunger that we had, but
Yeah.
not fill us up so much that we were not looking forward to other offerings.
Yeah, no. So we walked around some more and scoped out some more booths, and then we stopped by the Angel Heart.
We did.
Booth.
We stopped at Angel Hearts, and we have been to Angel Hearts once. It was last summer. We took a little side trip to Ithaca during our venture to Watkins Glen last summer, specifically to check out Angel Hearts. And unfortunately, at the time, they were not doing table service. They were just doing takeout. So we wound up getting breakfast off their menu and eating in the car, which was,
We ate it in the parking lot.
we did. We ate it in the parking lot, and you know what? It was fabulous.
Yeah, it was totally worth
Absolutely
it.
fabulous.
I think I got one of their breakfast burritos,
You
which was
did.
really good, and you got a breakfast
sandwich,
Yeah.
which was both of which were fantastic. And so we were really looking forward to seeing Angel Hearts again. And we decided to get a couple of sausage rolls. Now, these sausage rolls were being sold by Angel Hearts, but they were made by Ithaca Breadworks.
Right, which was right next to them.
Right next to
Yeah,
them.
they were like sharing booth space.
Yes. Although we really wish that there had been a way to effectively warm the sausage rolls,
Oh, yeah, that would have been better.
the rolls themselves
They were good.
were really good.
Yeah, the sausage was really well seasoned.
Beautifully seasoned. The texture of the dough was spot on. Like, of course, if it was warm, it would have been a little flakier,
Yeah.
a little crispier than it was.
They rivaled Fraser's at
They
Eat
really
No Bone.
did. And
Not quite. They weren't quite there, but they
But
were good.
They were awesome. They were really, really fantastic. But I think also, I mean, the last time we had Fraser's sausage rolls, they were fresh.
Fresh out of the oven, yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of an unfair
Yeah.
comparison.
I agree. Unfair
Yeah.
comparison.
You can't compare a fresh sausage roll with one that is
Yeah.
cooled
That's
and,
true.
and packaged.
But
yeah.
it was a nice, good walk around snack,
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah. So then after that, that's when I got my beanie. I got my hat from Shannon Creates she's out of Syracuse, and she makes these beautifully hand knit hats and hand crocheted things. She had hand crocheted bags
And dresses?
and dresses.
A couple of dresses?
Yeah, she's very talented.
Very talented.
And
really amazing.
Yeah, so I got this beanie that she calls her wilderness beanie, which, totally fit the bill. My ears were so cold. As soon as I put it on, I'm like, oh, all is right in the world now.
She was much happier once she got her beanie. So, Shannon, thank you.
Yeah, and you can take a look at what Shannon does. She does have a website, shannoncreatesdesigns.com, where she actually has some of her patterns and whatnot.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so check her stuff out. She's very talented.
Very cool.
So thank you so much, Shannon, for saving my ears.
Yes.
For the day.
Absolutely.
I was much happier once I had your hat on.
Yep. And once Christine got a hat, we went and said hello to Andy at his booth, which is always our favorite booth at a Vegfest. You've got to love it.
Yep.
So beautiful, so colorful. And of course, seeing his fabulous face is always a good thing.
Yep.
Yep. And he was situated right next to a lovely group of people from Salt City Bread.
Yeah.
Yes. And this was a genius idea, I have to say. They were selling sampler boxes of their breads, of different flavors of sourdough, and just, it was so cool. Like, such an awesome idea to give just a sampler of the kind of things that they do.
Yeah.
Like,
so you didn't have to buy a whole loaf of bread. And they had different kinds of their breads in the sampler and a couple of cookies. Mm-hmm. Are we going to break the news about what happened?
Well, we can't do it yet.
Okay.
We can't do it yet. That has to come at the end of the tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't want to give it away just yet. Yeah. But anyway, the breads looked absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
And we were very much looking forward to trying them. And from there, we moved on to a couple of different places. I was a little bit chilly, not enough to buy a hat, but I did want some hot cider. And so I got a hot cider from Pies the Limit, which is a delightful bakery in Syracuse. And they do gourmet pies for all occasions. And you can find their work at www.piesthelimit.bakery.com. And along with the hot apple cider, which was absolutely delicious, we got a strawberry rhubarb galette.
A galette. I couldn't remember what they called it.
It was a galette.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So it was a flaky pastry that was kind of folded over on the sides, but there was still an open
like in a little
center.
Octagonal shape.
Yes.
With the jam in the center. It was strawberry rhubarb.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite flavor combinations.
Me too. Absolutely love it. And the jam was so spot on. It was just absolutely perfect.
It was good.
Incredibly sweet strawberry, and you got nice pieces of strawberry in the jam too. It wasn't just jelly. And the tang of the rhubarb, again, I wish the pastry had been a little flakier, but I think that's just really hard to achieve at a Vegfest when you're,
It was because it was cold out.
Yes, that didn't help.
And things were, not served warm. I mean, you just can't.
Right.
You can't compare a cold pastry to a warm pastry.
Oh, no, of course not. But either way, this was absolutely beautiful. And again, it was just very light and just absolutely fit the bill for what it was.
We wolfed it down pretty quick.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. No joke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thanks to all the ladies there from at Pies the Limit in Syracuse.
Yes.
Enjoyed that little sweet, tasty treat.
Mm-hmm. And then we wandered over to Fat Cat Baking.
That's right.
Now, Fat Cat Baking, and this will also go into the story that we're saving for the end of this. We got to Fat Cat Baking, and they had all kinds of lovely things. What was calling to us were their lemon and basil scones. I think you've heard us mention before how much we enjoy a good scone.
Yeah.
And also, I had to pick up a couple of stickers and one of their T-shirts because their logo design is just so cute.
It's adorable with the fat cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're a cat lover, you need one of these shirts.
Yep.
And I actually wore mine to work today and got lots of wonderful comments on it.
Oh, did you?
Oh my God, Sam, your shirt's so cute. Well, thank you.
Fat Cat Bakery.
Fat Cat Bakery. Yes.
And they're also in Syracuse, right?
They are also in Syracuse. Yes, absolutely. Let me see if I have some information here. Why, yes, I do. You can find them on social media at Fat Cat Baking. And they were just delightful people.
They were.
Yeah, we had a lovely time talking with them. They were great.
Then what did we do?
Then, let's see.
Oh, we went back to Andy's booth at Compassion Co.
Yes.
to buy one of his tote bags. He has these great cotton, organic cotton tote bags.
Hand dyed,
And
mind you.
yeah, and he hand dyed them. He had some blue ones and he had some green ones. We got a green one,
No, it's purple.
a purple one. He had some purple ones and he had some green ones. Thank you.
No problem.
My memory is not what it should be. And they say eating animals is creepy on them, which is great.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. And so we wanted to pick one of those up because we weren't sure we wouldn't be buying some other stuff, then we needed a bag.
Yeah, we were running out of room in the bags that we had.
Yes, we were running out of room in my bag. So there we go.
So then we went to a food truck that was there.
Yes.
A food truck from a restaurant called Our Vegan Corner in
It's actually
Syracuse.
Razzle Dazzle, our vegan corner.
Yeah, Razzle Dazzle is their ice cream
Oh, really?
part, and Our Vegan Corner is their savory food part of the restaurant.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
it's like
nice
two
catch.
separate things.
Nice catch. I
Yeah.
did not get that. Cool.
Yeah, so what did we get there?
Oh my gosh. So, first of all, their menu is huge.
There was a lot to choose
There
from.
was a lot to choose from, and it made things really challenging. Like, do you want a taco? Do you want a panini? Do you want, chicken and mac and cheese and collard greens?
They had full dinners.
Like, oh my gosh, just unbelievable. They had soups. They had it was crazy. But anyway, eventually we settled on their cauliflower fried chicken. Christine just got an order of the cauliflower fried chicken just in and of itself.
Yep, with a side of barbecue.
With a side of barbecue sauce. For Andy, we picked up a soul food plate, which was the cauliflower fried chicken with collard greens and mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And then I got a couple of tacos also with the cauliflower fried chicken because cauliflower tacos. Hello.
And this cauliflower fried chicken was a little different. You could tell that the cauliflower had been marinated in something. Maybe kind of like a mustard-based marinade of some sort.
Yeah, not entirely sure what, but man, did it impart some amazing flavor.
Yeah.
And the batter was perfect. It was crispy, not even remotely greasy. The cauliflower was tender, but it still had some bite to it.
Yeah, and they were frying it to order, so it was perfect.
Oh, it was
when you got
absolutely perfect. And honestly, I think this was the best cauliflower fried chicken I've ever had.
It was good.
It was really,
I
really
agree.
good.
Definitely one of the best I've ever had.
Just through the roof, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finished my tacos and I'm like, I want more cauliflower. This is really
I think I let
good.
you have a couple pixes of mine.
You did. You shared. It
Yeah.
was very nice of you.
Yeah, so we brought Andy his plate. I texted Andy and said, "Is there anything you want us to bring back food?" And he said something to the effect of, "Only if it's the greatest thing I've ever had in my life, and if it's not the greatest thing I've ever had in my life, I will hate you forever." Which cracked me up.
Of course.
But we're safe. Apparently, it was good, and we are safe. We are not going to be hated.
We are not going to suffer the wrath of Andy.
No, we won't.
Excellent.
And so when we brought him his food, I think that's when we picked up the tote bag.
No, we got the tote bag first
Oh, we did? We got the tote bag first?
because I was carrying the tote bag at the time.
Yeah, I apparently am very unclear as to the order of how things happen.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really all that important.
No, it's not.
No. It's just a framework for remembering what happened.
Yeah.
that's all.
So after we ate that delicious stuff from our vegan corner, which is based in Syracuse,
Yes.
we walked around some more, and
The lure of burning books was just too strong.
yeah, well, we had that tote bag to fill too. So.
We did. And not to let me loose at burning books at a veg fest. It's just not a good idea.
No. Can you remember what books you got?
Hang on just a second because they're in the tote bag
Yeah, go get
on
'em.
the counter. Okay.
Tell us what you got.
I got a lovely quintet of books. One title that I had never seen before, which I was very excited about, and then 4 that I'd been meaning to purchase for quite some time. So finally just broke down and did it. All right. So the first one, the one that I was not familiar with, is called Crisis and Care, and that is Queer Activist Responses to a Global Pandemic. And this is a series of essays edited by Adrian Shanker with a foreword by Rhea Carey.
Interesting.
Yes. So not a vegan-specific book, but certainly an activist-specific book. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yes. Then we have Adrienne Marie Brown's Emergent Strategy, Shaping Change and Changing Worlds. So awesome.
Yep.
Love that.
Should be some good information in there.
Yes, I've been meaning to read that for quite some time. This is one that I'm super excited about. 12 Steps to Changing Yourself and the World, an Abolitionist's Handbook by Patrice Cullors.
Okay.
Yes, so super excited about that. And then I have, I went ahead and bought the siblings, Brother Vegan and Sister Vegan.
Yeah, I've heard good things about both of those.
Yes, I have too. And I've read many, many excerpts from Sister Vegan, and it's just a gorgeous book. So both of these are Black vegans speaking on food, identity, health, and society. So just taking a look at all of the interconnections between those things, which I love. Sister Vegan is edited by A. Breeze Harper. And Brother Vegan is edited by Amawale Adewale.
Awesome.
Yes. And so, again, I'm very much looking forward to both of those.
Yeah, so maybe one of these books will show up on your book review sometime.
Without a doubt. I have a feeling Sister Vegan is going to come first.
Okay.
I really do.
So look forward to that.
I'm just itching to
dig into that one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah, so after we bought our books, we just kind of wandered around a little bit more.
Yeah.
The sun was kind of peeking out a little, which was nice.
It did start to peek out a little.
Yeah.
Yep. But this was the smallest Veg Fest I think that we've been to.
It was pretty
thus
small.
far. It was pretty small.
Yeah.
And, we had eaten our fill.
Mm-hmm.
And the couple of other places that we really did want to check out, there were pretty long lines by the time we had finished at Burning Books. The crowds were starting to pick up a little bit. The weather was clearing up, all of that stuff. And so we decided, we'll just call it a day.
Call it a day. I do want to thank all the people that were responsible for putting the Syracuse Vegfest together.
Yeah.
It was a really fun day.
It really was.
And a really well put together event. There was live music.
Mm-hmm. That was fabulous.
Playing the whole time we were there. Some really great musicians. And it was just a really nice day.
It was.
A really nice, crisp fall walk around and meet great people and eat some great food.
Yep.
Yeah. So kudos to all the people that put that together because it was a really well done festival.
Absolutely. I mean, so much so, and we just like the feel of it so much that I think we can say that we're committed to vending the Syracuse.
We think we're going to
Vegfest
vend it next year.
Yeah.
And
so
I will
super psyched for that.
I will bring Shannon's hat.
Yes. Definitely bring Shannon's hat.
Yes. All right. So that wraps up the Syracuse Vegfest, which I think is going to be, I'm not going to say it's the last Vegfest that we're going to, because we are going to a couple other kind of things that aren't really Vegfests, but are in the vein of Vegfest.
Close.
Well, let's just move on to housekeeping then. Hey, do you want to read a review for this week?
Sure. I can read the review.
An Apple podcast review.
Yes. So this is an Apple podcast review from Shoulda Been Chef. And the title is I Can't Even. This is one of Christine's favored 5-star reviews. So thank you very much.
Thanks for
Shoulda
the 5
Been
stars.
Chef. Yes. And this is from June 15th of this year. And we have the two of you literally make my day every week. I love your humor. I appreciate your connection. And I am grateful for the information and the joy that you bring every week. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Shoulda Been Chef. And I know who Shoulda Been Chef is.
Oh, really?
That's Sharon Jenko.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sharon, we love you.
She is just one of our favorite people.
She really is, and such an amazing supporter of the podcast. She's been a devoted listener pretty much since day one.
Since the beginning. She's been with us since the beginning.
Just
and
amazing.
thank you so much for your review, Sharon.
Yeah,
And
that is wonderful.
And her name Shoulda Been Chef, her handle there. If you see some of the food that she posts, she should have been a chef.
There you go.
Or you are a chef, Sharon. You're just a home chef.
Right.
So there you go.
There you go.
Thanks again for that review and for the 5 stars. Love it. Love the 5 stars. All right, moving on with housekeeping. We still have our fundraiser going for Food Not Bombs at our Buy Me a Coffee site. That's buymeacoffee.com/cucumbers.
Yeah, it is.
If you would like to give some money to Food Not Bombs in Buffalo and help them to create vegan meals for people that are having some food insecurities, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it would.
What else?
Let's see. Then we have our Patreon page. The link to the Patreon page is in the show notes. If you would like to support the Compassioning Cucumbers podcast, please consider one of our 3 levels of sponsorship. And any funds raised there, of course, will go towards improving the show, will go towards equipment, will go towards travel, those kinds of things, so we can keep bringing you the vegan news.
Yeah, definitely become a patron. Get this week's cookbook. I'll put a link in the show notes so that you can get this week's cookbook. And again, this week's cookbook was Modern Vegan Baking by Gretchen Price. Get your hands on that one. Click the link. What's next?
Our next event, you'll find us at Fall at the Farm Festival at Mockingbird Farms in Byron this coming Saturday, October 15th from 12 to 6. And on Saturday, if you are in the Erie vicinity, we will be at the Fall Arts and Vegan Festival hosted by Lake Erie Vegan. And that's at the 1020 Collective from 12 to 4.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And then on October 20th, we're headed to Washington, D.C. for the Animal and Vegan Advocacy Summit in Washington.
So psyched.
That should be awesome.
I've actually, I got the itinerary, like the program.
Oh, I did too. I didn't get a chance to read through it, but I did get that email today.
Yeah, I looked through it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And yes, there is, Andy will want to know that there is karaoke night.
Oh, yeah. He said there might be a karaoke night. And I'm like, oh, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
So, yay.
Just love karaoke.
All right.
And then I'm excited to report that we will be vending at the Halloween and Anniversary Celebration Pop-Up Market at the Vegan Center in Tonawanda on October 29th from 11 to 3.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, so it's a Halloween celebration, and it is the Vegan Center's anniversary, apparently.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to that.
Awesome.
Meeting some folks.
Love it.
Come on out. Want to meet you.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. That wraps up the housekeeping, and that wraps up episode 56 of the Compassioning Cucumbers podcast. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday. Wait a minute. We're back.
We
We
are.
forgot to tell you something that happened.
That's right.
We're on our way home.
This is very important.
Yes, we were on our way home.
And we were listening to the Bearded Vegans.
We were listening.
Yes, because Andy had reminded us of an episode that involved an interview with the vegan zombie.
Yeah, Chris Cooney.
Chris Cooney, and we wanted to make sure to listen to that. And it was so delightful. We had not listened to a Bearded Vegans episode in a while. So it was so great to hear Andy and Paul's voices and just, listening to that sweet, sweet podcast.
Yeah.
Just, again, it was really fabulous and kind of nostalgic. But anyway, we're partway through the episode and, maybe about halfway home, and Christine suddenly just kind of starts and says, "Did you remember the food?"
I packed everything up that we got into a bag and I had it on the kitchen counter, and I should have put it in the living room with the rest of our things. We were almost to Buffalo.
Yeah.
When we realized that we had left the pepperoni that we bought at Grass-Fed,
The prosciutto that Rob gifted us.
The bread sampler
from Salt
from
City Bakery.
Salt City Bakery,
And the scones
from
Fat Cat Baking.
I literally have been kicking myself from that very moment. I'm still kicking myself.
She really is.
I'm so depressed over it.
Well, I mean, there's no reason to be depressed. Yes, it's unfortunate that we lost all of that beautiful food and that we were not able to talk about it as fully as we would have wanted to.
Yeah. And I'm so sorry to everybody that we purchased that stuff from that we were unable to try some of those things. But I immediately messaged the owner of our Airbnb, and they said by this point it's been like 2.5 hours since we checked out.
Yeah.
And they said that the cleaning people had thrown it away.
Yeah.
Which is just heartbreaking.
It is.
I mean,
that such beautiful food should go to waste.
It makes me cry. I'm literally crying about it. So, okay, so we had to hop back on and talk about that because we had been teasing.
That's right.
Through the whole episode.
We can't tease something for an entire episode.
Wait a
and
minute,
not.
we forgot to tell everybody that we forgot that bag of food on the kitchen counter in our Airbnb. So, okay, we'll talk to you all next week. Thanks again so much for listening, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye-bye.